I don't subscribe to identity politics. I don't subscribe to critical race theory. Those aren't things that I believe in at all. Like, I don't believe in them. Like, people want to have a discussion, and I'm just like, I don't believe that shit at all. So there's no point in us talking about it. Because I believe in things like, what we were taught growing up. I believe that all men are created equal. I believe that color shouldn't matter. I believe that character should matter. Those are things Dr. Martin Luther King, one of the greatest Americans of all time, taught. And all these things that are being taught now are contradictory to that. And so we have to decide, do we subscribe to the shit that they're putting out now? Or do we subscribe to the thoughts of one of the greatest humans that's ever lived? You know what I mean? Yep. And we can't, because it's not both. Because they're contradictory.
Yeah.
And so I think, as Americans, we have a choice to make, because dude, it's driving people crazy, because people are like, well, how can we say this how can we say that everybody's inherently racist or evil or this or that when we're supposed to all get along and love each other and not see color and help each other progress? Like, it can't be both, And so we have to make a decision. What are we going to be about here in this country? I know what I'm going to be about. I'm going to be about the same shit I've always been about, which is, dude, if you're a human, I'm gonna treat you like a human. If I don't care where you come from, I mean, I don't know. We have to understand that this country is no different than riding a boat. Okay, want to drill holes in your own boat that you're riding in, and you're not realizing it. And if we continue down that path, this will not continue to be the country that all of you enjoy and are proud of. The real problem here, dude, this is the real problem that nobody's talking about today, is that by calling everything racist, you're making nothing racist. And what's happening now, dude,
getting rid of the real actual
that's
racism.
Right. And so how do we identify who real racists are?
Yeah.
When everybody's racist and everything is racist. I feel empathy for people who watch the media and believe it, right? Because we should believe it. We should be able to look at the TV and hear this person who's paid to tell us what is the news. We should reasonably expect them to be telling us the facts. I personally think that's a reasonable human expectation. And so you can't fault someone for believing the shit that from someone they're supposed to believe. But how do you do that in a way without being right there to like show them, you know what I mean? And this is, dude, both sides of the aisle are really guilty of this, because I see this shit from the left and the right, where, they go immediately to insults, right? Like, dude, insulting someone, calling them asshole or this or that or this. And dude, I'm guilty of it too, right? On the show, I say you're dumb. Well, that's because I literally mean it. Like, I'm being literal. I'm not trying to insult someone. You're of low intelligence.
And it's also a fact.
Yeah. But I mean, we have to get away from this, you're my enemy. Actually, it's weird.
Let's say that the world is a battlefield, which in a lot of ways it is. If you saw people just going through the front door, and it's like, they know, they trust, they rely that whatever comes through the front door is good. It's like, you're just going to slide something through the front door. It's like, if you build a reliance on the media, well, that's going to be the easiest way for us to slip you the poison, is through this thing that you rely and you trust. Yeah. So what people need to realize, and what I think is really important going forward, is that every piece of information, every fact, every word that comes across your mind, now you have to battle as to whether or not that's truth or false. Yeah. There's no trusted source. There's nothing. You have to be able to independently validate every piece of information that comes into your life, no matter where it comes from. Otherwise, you're going to lose the battle, because they know what you're going to trust, and that's where they're going to infiltrate, because they know that you have that reliance on it being true. 100%. So it's like, you have to, every single thing, no matter what, there is no trusted source. No. You're always just taking a tidbit, independently validating. Take a tidbit, independently validate. That's why research is so important. And yes, it's frustrating, and yes, it's a pain in the ass, but it's like, you lose if you don't do that. If you don't protect the back door just as much as you protect the front door and the side door, like, someone's going to find your vulnerability and come in. The only way to defend against it is like a perfect dome around yourself, which is self-reliance, self-awareness, complete and total control of your mindset all the time. not taking any piece of information as pure fact, independently validating and researching it. And it's a pain in the ass, but it is a necessary prerequisite for us to all move ahead. It's like you have to just trust nothing, like literally question everything and all things. Otherwise, we're gonna get clapped.
Yeah,
it's just like there is no choice. I wish it wasn't that way, but that's the way.
Yeah,
as far as I see it.
No, dude, you're spot on, bro. I mean, that's it. Like everything. And dude, I've even had to find myself doing that with shit that like I wouldn't. Like I've started to realize over the course of the year that like nobody's telling the truth.
Yes, right.
Nobody
really knows.
No, and yeah, that's what they want though. Yeah. They want confusion. They want clouds so that you cannot figure out what's going on. So that's been a realization I think for a lot of people, and I think that's also why it's taken so many people to realize that this really is, because they know like dude, it's wrong. It's wrong. Like it's wrong to watch the news and get lied to, but they do it every day, a lot. And it's not just a little lie. It's not a stretch of the truth. It's and no, seriously, the evidence of it, that it's not like, it's not a fish story, it's not like, it was here, but it's this, they're 19 people and the most people think it's 1,000. That's a different thing. That's a different. When I got started in business, it's been 22 years now. It was, you wanted to win and then you celebrated the wins. And it seems to me that has gone almost completely away, which is something I'm never going to give up on because I like my life. And it's been replaced with this attitude of whoever the biggest victim is gets celebrated the most. And so we have people competing over, and we look at this, let's look at Instagram, or let's look at Twitter, or let's look at people's content. like so much of it, and they've taken this idea of being vulnerable and telling the truth, and they realize that like whenever the sadder the story I tell, the more attention I get. You know, now we have people who all they do, every message is complain about how shitty things are. And you know what? If you're going to complain every single day about how shitty things are, guess what? Things will be pretty shitty. Everybody's afraid. Everybody's scared that, you know, today's the day, the shit's going to come crumbling down. Like, dude, I still feel that way almost every day. And it's not even a logical thought. Like it could not even really happen. Okay. Not in a day. Right.
Yeah.
But like I pretend that way. And then what that does is it leverages me to be urgent throughout that day. And because I'm urgent throughout that day, shit gets done, which keeps everything growing. And so I don't know, like, where do you guys stand on that? I think everybody's a little different. I don't ever get to a place of like super calm. I think people get lost in the idea of even addressing their fear. Like they're afraid to like even look at it. Like, so they stick their head in the sand. And then what happens is, you know, more things get surrounded, and then they become overwhelmed because they haven't addressed any of it.